The Rough Country tri-folding cover that we're talking about here today is going to be one of the most affordable hard folding options available for the 2019 and newer Ram owners looking to step up the bed protection for your cargo thanks to the lockable design and tough aluminum panels, but would prefer to keep things more on the budget-friendly side. Now, the 5-star rated option here will feature again that durable aluminum build finished in a satin black powder coat and does get backed by a corresponding lifetime warranty, all for right around that $700 price point. Now, leading off our list of features here, and you'll find that the Rough Country does pack that extremely popular tri-fold design, which is extremely convenient when it comes to folding it up and out of the way quickly if you ever needed to haul something a little bit on the larger side. Now, unlike other covers, this one will not lift all the way up against that back window, so if you did need to access the entire bed at one time, you would need to ultimately remove the cover itself, but because of the design, it's not that difficult to do so. Now, another feature is the aluminum construction here at that very affordable price point, which we will talk more about in the next segment. Finally, guys, Rough Country does feature the low profile design here, and that's just basically going to make for a very clean appearance once the cover has been installed, as it will basically sit flush with the bed rails of your truck. And again, from the side profile, you can hardly tell it's installed. Now, diving a little bit deeper into the construction of the Rough Country, and for a very affordable cover, the construction is certainly on point. First and foremost, again, you heard me mention it throughout the video, you are getting those aluminum panels, lightweight aluminum to be more exact, around a foam core design. And that is something that's a popular design in the hard fold category. Now, the actual aluminum itself has been finished in a textured black powder coat, and that should help resist any scratching, fading, or chipping over the years. Now, the tri-fold design, obviously, again, very popular. I would say probably the most popular design or configuration here on the site, and this particular one will allow you to open up those first two panels rather easily and then secure them with the included straps, which you'll find down here below. Now, the rails that are included will make this a very simple install. Those rails will feature the extruded aircraft grade aluminum frame that will lock onto your existing bed rails thanks to the provided clamps. Again, very easy operation, very easy install. Now, to help keep things watertight, the Rough Country option does get rubber gaskets or seals on all four sides. And then finally, again, to keep that cargo nice and safe at all times, this thing is lockable. Basically, as long as your tailgate is locked and the truck is locked up, the cover itself is going to be very hard to defeat. Last but not least, guys, Rough Country does back their hard folding cover here with a signature limited lifetime warranty. Again, very, very important to point out for such a budget-friendly cover. And that's just going to be basically a peace of mind in case you run into any issues over the years. Now, let's talk a little bit more about that price point. We've been mentioning it throughout the video. And again, at this time, the Rough Country at or around that $700 price point, easily one of the most affordable hard tri-folding options on the site for this particular generation truck. And again, when you consider the build quality, you consider that lifetime warranty, this is really a great value. But now let's shift gears and get into the installation. Site is going to call this a solid 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe 30 minutes or so to complete from start to finish using some pretty basic hand tools. I will say the only part that might be a bit challenging if you're doing this by yourself is actually lifting the cover up into place. So if you have an extra set of hands to help you doing that, then that will certainly make your life easier at the end of the day. But now let's throw it out to the shop for a detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown. Check it out.
Tools required for this install include the included wrench, Allen wrench, and a rubber mallet.
What's up, guys? Today we're installing a tonneau cover on our Ram, so let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is assemble our side rails. We have our support plate, as well as our locking latch, and our drain tube that we'll need to install onto our rail before we get it onto the truck. So we'll start at the front side of our rail. This is the one with the open end. The rear side has a cap here. So we're going to grab our support plate, and we're going to line up our notches and slide that on. And then we can get our drain tube, and that's going to plug this hole at the end here. Now the drain tube's a little hard to push in by hand, so you can grab a rubber mallet and tap it in. And now we can flip our rail around to the rear end. Once again, this is the one with the cap here. And we'll install our locking latch. And now we can do the same thing to assemble the other rail and get these installed onto the truck. So now we're ready to install our clamps. Now this is how our clamp comes out of the package. We get a 17mm wrench included in the kit. So we're just gonna loosen up that bolt. And then the side with this little tab is gonna go into the rail. The side with the grip is gonna go on the back. Thread that bolt in by hand. And then take that included wrench to tighten it up. So now moving to the front side of our rail, the first thing we can do is slide our drain tube through this hole. And then we'll grab our second clamp. Put that into the rail. Start our bolt by hand. And then take that included wrench and tighten the bolt down. And then you can repeat that whole process on the other side. Now coming to the front side of our side rail, we can grab our drain tube and we're going to be putting it through this hole. And then we can grab our second mounting bracket. We want to make sure that this one is towards the back. And then we'll slide this into place. Get our bolt hand tight, and then take that included wrench, tighten it down. And then you can repeat that same process on the other side. So now I've got our tonneau cover lifted up into place. We have this long bolt with this rubber washer that we're going to be dropping through this hole and into that support bracket. And then we'll go underneath. We have a flat washer, lock washer, a knob, and a cotter pin to install onto the bottom of this stud. So now we can get that flat washer and lock washer onto our stud, followed by the knob. And then we can get that cotter pin slid through the hole in our stud. And once we have that taken care of, we can grab that Allen wrench that's included in our kit to tighten down this Allen bolt against our rail. And then we can repeat that process on the other side. So now the last thing we need to do is adjust our locks. Now we have our plungers here. We want to make sure that that hits right in the middle of our lock so that it'll lock into place. So we have the included Allen wrench. We'll get that all centered up and tighten it down. And now with that centered, this will lock into place. And now moving to the back of the rail, we can do that same thing. We'll drop this down, get that centered up, and then take our Allen wrench, tighten this down. Then once that's nice and tight, that should lock into place just like that, and you can repeat the whole process on the other side.
So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Rough Country Low Profile Hard Trifold Tonneau Cover for your 2019 and newer Ram 1500 with 5.7 foot box and without Ram box and multifunction tailgate. Thank you for watching, and for all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.